Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Have a nice day. Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Have a nice day. Have a beautiful day. Good morning, everyone. Have a nice day. Beautiful. Have a beautiful day. Hi, good morning. Have a nice day. Have a beautiful day. Today we will see the biography of Savitribai Phule. Savitribai Phule. Savitribai Phule was a Maharashtrian poet, educator, and social reformer. She and her husband significantly contributed to the advancement of women's rights in the Maharashtra and in India. She is credited with founding the Feminist movement in India. In Pune, near Baidawada, Savitribai and her husband established one of the first modern Indian girls' school in 1848. She campaigned to remove caste and general prejudice and unfair treatment of individuals. If we see about personal life, in the Maharashtra village of Naigavans, Satara district, Savitribai Phule was born on 3rd January 1831. 3rd January, January 3rd. She was born roughly 50 kilometers from Pune and about 15 kilometers from Shirwal. Lakshmi and Kandoji Nevase Patil, who both belonged to the raised Savitri Phule as their youngest child. There were three siblings. When she was 9 to 10 years old, Savitribai married Jyotirao Phule. He was 13. When he was at the age of 13, no children of their own were born to Savitribai and Jyotirao. Yeshwantarao, a son born to K. She claimed to have been adopted them to support this. Nevertheless, there is currently no original evidence. It is stated that because Yeshwant was born to no one wanted to offer him a female when he was going to get married. Thus, in February 1889, Savitribai organized his marriage to Dainoba Sasane, a member of her group. This was feminist. She was a great feminist. When we see about her career, she began instructing girls at the Maharashtra in Pune after completion of her teacher training. She did this with the help of Jyoti Rao's tutor and the revolutionary feminist Sagunabai Krisagar. Soon after starting to work at Sagunabai's assistant, Savitribai Jyotirao Phule and Sagunabai opened their own school in Bidewada. Tatya, Tatya Sahib Bide, who lived in Bidewada, was motivated by the job the trio was doing. Main physics and the social studies were all the part of traditional Western culture. Curricular curriculum at Bidewada, Savitribai and Jyotirao Phule were in the charge of three different ladies' schools in the Pune at the end of the 1851. There were roughly 150 students enrolled among the three institutions. The three schools used different teaching strategies from those used in government schools, much like the curriculum did. According to the author Divya Kandukuri, the Pule method were thought to be better to those employed by government institution because to this reputation more girls attended the Pule schools than boys did compared to the number of boys enrolled in the school public schools. They both wife and husband educational trust is founded two educational trusts in 1850s, the native male school in the Pune and the Society for Promoting the Education of the Mahars, monks and other groups were their names. Under the direction of the Savitribai Phule and later Fatima Sheikh, these two trusts eventually included a large number of schools. She opened a total 18 schools with her husband and taught children from various castes. The pair also mm, assisted the children um, for children to care facilities um, of Balihartya Pratibandak. Griha in those days. So, okay, we will see about Aryabhata, the first Aryabhatta satellite. Aryabhatta satellite. Aryabhatta first unmanned Earth satellite built by India. It was named for a prominent Indian astronomer and mathematician of the 5th century CE. The satellite was assembled at Pina near Bangalore but was launched from uh, within the Soviet Union by the Russian mode rocket on April 9, 1975. Aryabhatta weighed 794 pounds, that is in 360 kgs, and was instrumented to explore conditions in its ionosphere, measure neutrals and gamma rays from the sun, and performs the investigations in X-ray astronomy. The scientific instruments had to be switched off during the fifth day in the orbit because of failure in the satellite's electrical power supply. Useful information, nevertheless, was collected during the 5 days of operation. This was about Aryabhatta. Next, Sputnik, a series of the artificial Earth satellite, the first of whose launch by the Soviet Union on October 4, 1957, inaugurated the space age. Sputnik 1. The first artificial satellite launched was the 83.6 kgs, that is 184 pound capsule. It achieved an Earth orbit with Earth orbit. apogee, farthest point from the Earth 940 kgs, that is 584 miles and kilometers, and perigee, nearest point of 230 kilometers, circling Earth every 90 minutes, 96 minutes, and remaining in orbit until January 4, 1958, when it fell back and burned in Earth's atmosphere. The launch of Sputnik 1 shocked many Americans who had assumed that the country was technically ahead of the Soviet Union and led to the space race between the two countries. Sputnik 2, launched on November 3rd, 1957, carried the dog Laika, the first living creature to be shot into space and orbit Earth. Laika was a stray dog found on the streets of Moscow. There were no plans to return her to Earth, and she lived only a few hours in orbit. Sputnik 3, launched on May 15, 1958, carried 12 instruments to study Earth's upper atmosphere and space, and was also the heaviest satellite to that time, weight 1,327 kgs. Sputnik 3 was originally intended to be first satellite, but its complexity and the size of the Soviet to launch much simpler Sputnik 1 to beat the Soviet United States into the space. The Soviets officially called only three satellites Sputnik in the West. However, Sputnik was used as a genetic name for the Soviet satellite. These Sputniks included the first probes to Venus and Mars, as well as five missions in the Korabel Sputnik program, which tested the crewed Vostok spacecraft before Yuri Gagarin's flight in 1961. Yuri Gagarin facts that the mm, first human in the space when he orbited Earth. Yuri Gagarin was a Soviet pilot and cosmonaut who, aboard the first successful crewed spacecraft, became the first person to journey into the outer space. Traveling on Vostok 1, Gagarin completed one orbit of Earth on 12 April 1961 with his flight taking 108 minutes. Yuri Gagarin was born on March 9, 1934 near Jizak, Russian USSR, United States, Soviet Russia, and died on 1968. That means only 34 years. Near Moscow was Soviet cosmonaut who in 1961 became the first man to travel into space, the son of carpenter. Mm, the son of carpenter on collective form, Gagarin graduated a more Walter from the trade school near Moscow in 1951. He continued his studies at the Industrial College at the Saratov and concurrently took a course in the flying. On completing this course, he entered the Soviet Air Force Cadet School at Warrenburg, from which he graduated in 1957. Gagarin's spacecraft, Vostok 1 spacecraft, was launched at 7 a.m. Moscow time on April 12, 1961, orbit Earth once in 1 hour 29 minutes at the maximum altitude of 187 miles and landed at 10:55 a.m. in the Soviet Union. His space flight brought him immediate worldwide fame. He was awarded that Order of the Lenin and given the title of Hero of the Soviet Union and the pilot cosmonaut of the Soviet Union. Monuments were raised to him and the streets were renamed in his honor across the Soviet Union. Gagarin never went into space again, but took an active part in the training other cosmonauts. He made several tours to other nations following his historic flight, and from 1962 he served a deputy to the Supreme Soviet. Gagarin was killed with another pilot in the crash of a two-seat jet aircraft while on what was described a routine training flight. His ashes were placed in niche in the Kremlin wall after his death in 1968. The town of Vostok was renamed Gagarin. Vostok. Any of the series of the manned Soviet spacecraft, the initial flight of which carried the first human being into space, launched in April 12, 1961. Vostok 1, carrying cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, made a single orbit of Earth before re-entry. The Vostok series included six launching over the two-year period, while the first flight lasted only 1 hour and 48 minutes. The second Vostok, renamed, remained space more than 25 hours, making 17 orbits around the Earth. The remaining Vostok missions were launched in the pace Vostok 3, Vostok 4, and the both launched on August 11, 1962. The orbit in the sight of each other. Vostok 3 set a new time record in space of 94 hours and traveled more than 16 lakhs in Earth orbit. The final two missions in the Vostok series included the participation of the first woman cosmonaut Vostok 5 lifted off on June 14, 1963, followed 2 days after by Vostok 6 carrying Valentina Tereskova. These Vostok flights were notable in the two aircrafts traveled so close together, at time hardly 3 miles, setting the stage for future space dockings between orbits vehicles. A technology of space flights in the Vostok program is shown in the table. This was a session. Now going to close. Going to close the session. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Tomorrow we will meet in the same time, 5 to 6 a.m. Bye.